the Matt Logan Show. Are your elected officials reaching out to your community well enough? Did that sound professional?
It did sound professional.
Wow,
I'm
that's
impressed.
too bad.
It's like you know what you're doing.
That's what we're going to talk about on this show. We're going to talk about, are your elected officials involved in your community enough, essentially? I don't know. We'll have to come up with a name for the show, I suppose. You know how to, but that we'll have to figure that out later.
Yeah. Maybe you could put out a little contest for comments on suggestions.
Yeah, snide remarks mainly, I'm sure.
Yeah, I might have a few too. So.
It's good. You know, we see just right before we started, I was looking up, and there's all these different. They even have conferences for elected officials to connect with communities.
Yep.
And you know, wow, I think that's a little sad, honestly, because what's wrong with the county fair? Maybe what's wrong with going to a school function like, you know, performing arts center some night when there's a play.
Or a city function.
Or there you go.
Right.
All kinds of ways to do it. And it seems like it's getting to be robotic to me personally. And I think that maybe another way to label it is it's partisan. And I think that the elected officials, especially when you're talking about it in a local sense, you know, when you're a mayor of a city, when you're a city council member, it really needs to be bipartisan, at least to an extent. Vote on your principles and what that belief is, but you're talking about a very different thing than a federal kind of a, you know, Senate or Congress or whatever.
Right, federal office.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's super important. You know, whether you agree with what your constituents' beliefs are, you know, individually, you still need to listen to them and reach out to them and listen to their input, whether it's for or against yourself. You need to be open to communication and quite frankly, criticism from your constituents, because how are you going to improve things if you don't know what you're doing wrong?
Right.
Or what other people feel you're doing wrong. And worst case scenario, it gives you an opportunity to explain and justify why you've made decisions that you've made. And maybe that will open up people's eyes of, well, I didn't know the background of that. Maybe because there was a lack of communication on why a decision was made.
Right.
But you need to listen to people that you represent. Plain and simple.
So I can't remember exactly how the saying goes, but it's something like, you know, most people don't want their opinions to be implemented. They just want their opinions to be heard, right? They essentially want to be heard, not necessarily that their idea is the only idea,
right?
But just that they're heard.
To be acknowledged.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
It's pretty simple to answer a phone call or get back to a phone call or especially an email. And I mean, I tell you, that speaks volumes when a candidate or a local representative doesn't return calls or emails.
In 2019, I launched Matt Logan Speaks and the mission thereof, and nearly completed all of that mission. One of the things that involved was trying to, I don't know, maybe a bridge. I think I've used the word bridge before, be a bridge between a few different ideas and things along those lines. But I really learned a lot. It's really sad to say, out of the hundreds and maybe even nearly 1,000 people that I reached out to, the majority of the people that got back to me were from one general political party. And it was a very nonpartisan, non-political. I might get more political after going through that experience, you know, but it very non-political, very just human interest type things. And what's important to all people, no matter their race or religion or politics. But it was one party that they would say, sorry, we can't, or yes, we can, or whatever. But there was, and it was unfortunately the Democrats. I'm just going to say it. They did not return messages the majority of the time. And I didn't have any of them on the show. None of them would say yes.
But they were invited.
They were invited. Blew my mind. I'm not going to be specific on who it is, but blew my mind. Why?
Right.
I don't
Just
know.
Have a conversation.
It's a rhetorical, right? I want,
Open
this
dialogue.
chat. Yeah, totally. Now, from a non-political standpoint, it's not. So let's say we have, person A and person B. They're, person A is a Democrat, person B is a Republican, and they're just normal everyday people. Yeah, we had many conversations, non-political, and from both kinds of the aisle, so to speak. And that was fantastic. I loved it. I learned a lot, a ton. But the party itself in general, when you're talking, GOP in Minnesota or DFL in Minnesota, the GOP, they return messages. Not all of them, but a large majority of them did. Right. They would at least say no.
Acknowledging that they got your message.
And that's the point of you want your opinion to be heard, not necessarily that it needs to be implemented. I know that firsthand, in other words, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I mean, when I ran for political office, to me, I mean, I was adamant about getting back to people, whether it was, a phone call, a text, an email, because I wanted to hear what people had to say. And I think that's extremely important. And not even during the campaign season, but the rest of the year. And so I'll speak for our local mayor. She gets a lot of grief. And she gets a lot of compliments. And there are some people that go to the extreme and were, quite frankly, they should probably have restraining orders against them because they just don't know when to stop. So she's blocked them, but she's blocked what I feel are a lot of people that just question her.
I've heard this before too, and I wanna back you up a little bit. She's blocked individuals from her individual accounts.
And her mayor account.
I think so that's technically illegal.
I believe so as well. And it's noted that it's a campaign account, not her.
Oh, a campaign
not
account?
Her city account, but yet it's acting as mayor of. So
I see.
But even if it's not her
mayors.
official Facebook page and it's her personal political page, shouldn't you listen to everybody's thoughts and ideas? And if somebody's harassing you, then deal with that off of Facebook. But to just block anybody that doesn't agree with you, I mean, it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths.
Yeah.
And I mean, me personally, I never attacked her. I would question some things that she did, and some things that she has done, and decisions she's made, and I think I was polite about it, but I was blunt. And she blocked me and she unfriended me on her Facebook page, and I'm like, it doesn't pass the smell test. There are people that I don't agree with that I'm still friends with on Facebook. We don't agree politically. That's fine. Your whole life doesn't revolve around politics, and
it shouldn't.
It's okay to disagree on things and still be friends.
Yeah.
And it was just. It's a big red flag. And it's not just our mayor. There's other people that are running for offices that they've blocked people that have different views. Well, you're definitely not going to gain any votes by doing that. You never know. A couple dozen votes here and there of people that were on the fence, that could make or break your election.
For sure.
So to just shun people because they question or ask hard questions, that's.
What are other ways that current elected officials, now the excuse is that they're so busy and all these other things, what are some other ways that they can connect, You can
do roundtables. You can do, like, I know in Rochester they do like coffee with your local politicians. But it's the same three. It's the same county commissioner. It's the same city council member. There's one other person on there. But it's the same three. It doesn't, school board member. But it doesn't tend to revolve around the different members of the 7 county commissioners, the 7 city council representatives, and the 7 school board reps. It's the same ones. Well, what if I want to talk to a specific person and they won't answer their emails, but here I can kind of corner them in a face-to-face coffee talk?
Yeah, what about like local baseball games, or what about hockey games in the wintertime? Why can't you don't see that very often, and I mean not necessarily go there to enjoy the game, but go there to reach your community, see what they're up to, what they're doing, talk to them.
Right, and I mean there's a time and a place as well. Like if an elected official is at an event with their family, let them enjoy their time with their family.
True.
And reach out to them afterwards or during an intermission or something like that.
But I'm saying, like, specifically go to these events to mingle with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're going to go into a hockey game or a fair or a baseball game, or you're not going to know what their political affiliation is.
No, and they shouldn't have a political affiliation. It's a game.
Right, and that's exactly the point. Is it's like go meet them where they're at.
Right, or like you said, the county fair happening right now. Go sit out
Gerard
there for a few
Butler
hours.
went to the county fair in Rochester, Minnesota.
Yeah, he's kind of an A-list celebrity.
Kind of.
Yeah. He's been in a few big movies, some blockbusters. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Who's this guy? Have you turned on have you watched a movie in the last 10 years? He's probably in one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's important to get out and, whether you're able to knock on doors or not, but get out there and be seen in your community. And like in Rochester, we have what used to be called Thursdays on First, but Thursdays downtown. Get out there. There's 5,000 people out there. Get out there and talk to people. Or, the concerts down at the Civic Center. Get out there and talk to people and expose yourself and be seen. Right. I think that means a lot. If you're going to represent our city, you need to represent everybody in your city, whether it's Rochester or Duluth or wherever. Nobody wants a closet quarterback.
Right.
You got to get out there and get out of the proverbial basement. And
even a closet quarterback generally will answer a question after the fact. And
you would hope so.
That's the idea, right? It's interesting because we see, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, it would appear the people that don't go into the communities and do these things, and I'm talking just into the communities and the bipartisan things, they're confident that they're just going to win. Right? That's what it looks like from my angle and from where I'm sitting. And so to me, I'm going to ask the question, like, are you worthy of the position?
Right.
Or are you just sort of guaranteed the position in some way based off of throwing a lot of money at it on ads or whatever else at the last minute to get people to think about it?
Right. And if you're going to represent the people, you need to listen to the people.
Yeah.
Whether they agree with your positions or not, you at least need to listen to them.
Right.
That's the least you can do.
Let's go get involved in the community.
Get out there and vote.
That's right.
Rock the vote.
That's old.
I know it's old.
Everybody's going to be like, not everybody, but a lot of people are going to be, what is Craig talking about?
Yeah.
But hey, if you have a question, a comment, suggestion, or snide remark, Craig, you can email me at askmatt@mattloganspeaks.com.
Let her rip.
See you next time.